Topic 2. Example of suits, marketers, who are creative. In this topic, I've got 3 anecdotes I wish to share with you. 3 individuals who I know, suits, who come to work every day with a sandal on one foot. Let's take, for instance, John Allen. John is a friend of mine who works for SAP and looks after demand generation. There's a lot of pressure on John and his team every quarter to deliver leads to the sales. You can bet that the sales team will be knocking on his door by the end of the quarter if they haven't met their lead count. And John knows that without creativity, without creative thinking in their strategy, and without good creative that comes from the agency, they're not going to meet their lead count. John is by no means a creative person. Really, he's a data guy. He deals with numbers every day. But when it comes to the business of creativity, he's as creative as they get. John has several plot plants or ideas percolating and growing around him at any one point. And like a gardener, he waters his ideas. He takes the great stuff his team and agency presents, and he works out the best way to make it work in the SAP environment. John takes ownership of the idea. He champions it internally, and he defends and maintains the essence of an idea because he needs to meet his lead count. What John is really good at is recognizing a great idea. No matter how infant the idea is, he puts the ideas around him and he goes to work on massaging them and growing them, bringing them to fruition. Now let me introduce you to Dominic Coe, new media specialist at American Express. Dom loves to tinker. The chances are, if you're talking to him about some kind of new social media tool, like for instance Twitter, he's already put a brief out to agencies inviting proposals 3 months ago. He's an example of an early adopter of new technology. He reads a lot, and every day he's talking to technical people in different companies, understanding how they talk to their customers online. Dom has a very peculiar way of working. He likes to listen to colleagues and agencies pitching their work, and what he does is try to improve it by using his experience about users and different types of technology which can improve the user experience online. So Dom is both respected and in a sense feared by his colleagues and by agencies. Imagine for a moment the agency being the consultants who are supposed to in fact know more than the client. I mean, after all, they're advising them. But really what Dominic does is turn the tables around. He keeps the agencies in check because he knows more than what they do. And by the way, in his spare time, Dom likes to renovate bathrooms. He really is a nuts and bolts guy. He likes to look at proposals and look at ideas and make them better, re-engineer them in a way that uses latest technology and does it in the user's favour. Now I'm going to introduce you to Nick Bays, who's in fact from agency side. Nick is a client serviceman. He looks after clients. He takes briefs from them. He passes those briefs to the creative people, and the creative people are then expected to come up with the copy, the artwork, and the final printed result to hand back to them. If you're a company who does any type of direct mail, it's very likely that you might put briefs through to Nick. Direct mail is his specialty. But Nick is like the other 2 people I introduced you to earlier, goes a little bit further in his participation in creative thinking. Nick does not like to leave copywriting to anybody in the agency but himself. What he does is each morning he'll take down the brief from the client, and before the production people arrive at the agency at 7 AM, Nick is busy writing the copy. The creative people will arrive at 9 o'clock, and Nick will meet with them and he'll give them the creative copy that he's written. Nick never likes to leave the copy to anybody but himself. He takes ownership of it. He really believes that he understands the client's vision and that the copy is so important, critical to the success of the DM, that he wants to write it himself. Now a lot of people in agencies don't like this. They see creatives as creatives and suits as suits. But Nick is an example of a creative suit. He's arriving at work in the morning with a sandal on one shoe and a black shoe on the other. What these 3 have in common is that each of them believe that they can contribute to the creative process. At some point in their careers, they've started to recognize that the creative is actually very, very important to their KPI. And they don't wish to leave the entire creative process to an agency or to other colleagues. They instead take ownership for some component of it. If you look at John, it's about the overall idea. You take Nick, he likes to look specifically at the copywriting. And with Dom, he likes to look at the mechanics, about how it's put together. What they also get out of this creative process is a big emotional kick. As you know, every time you accomplish something, you get a huge boost of adrenaline, which lets the body feel good. Dom, John, Nick are addicted to the kick. Each time they create something, they get a gust of wind, a charge, which propels them to try again and again and again. And over time, they get better and better. Each of them would not have been as good as they are at the beginning of their career as they are now with their creative contribution. They don't stop trying, and each time that they try, they get a big emotional kick to get them doing it again.